Welcome back to my channel, you guys. If you guys have been here before, or if you're new here, my name is Sydney. I'm in a little bit of a different background today. I'm filming in my living room instead of like my second bedroom, and it sounds like the big bad wolf is trying to blow my house down outside. So if you guys hear lots of wind, that's why we're under like a severe wind advisory or something like that. But in today's video, I want to talk about indie shadows that I think beat out Natasha Denona shadows. So I feel like for the longest time, trying Natasha Denona shadows was like super high on my makeup bucket list. And I really just felt like Natasha shadows were like the gold standard for makeup. But as I've dipped my toes more into the indie world and I actually had the chance to try Natasha's shadows, this is the Sunrise palette. This is the only palette I own from them, or from Natasha's brand, but I have to say, I think indie in some ways does it better. So I thought it would be fun to share those couple brands as well as a couple shades from each brand in today's video. As I talk about the shadows, I will link any other videos that I've done recently on those brands. So if there's more information, more swatches, whatever it may be, you guys can find more of that from me down below in the description box. But without further ado, let's hop into it. Alright, you guys, here's my little magical indie palette. It looks a little bit disarrayed right now because I just took a couple shadows out because that's actually for a video that I'm filming next. But I have a couple of brands that I want to showcase for you guys along with some swatches from each of those brands. So let's hop into those. So the first brand, and really the brand that like kind of brought about this video idea for me, is Kaleido Cosmetics. So here are my Cleona shadows right now, and I want to specifically recommend Cleona for multi-chrome shadows. So Natasha Denona has recently come out with the Tri-Chrome palette, I think it's called, and that's a beautiful palette. I really do enjoy the color story. I think it's fun. I think it's a little bit grungy. It's something different for a holiday that we haven't seen before. But I feel like the multi-chromes in there leave so much to be desired, you guys. I feel like they're just very basic, boring. I feel like they're not even as shifty as they could be. So I had to show off some of my Cleona shadows. Cleona has an incredible range of multi-chromes. They're still on the more expensive side. They're a Canadian-based brand. And as of right now, I believe there's still a pretty long processing wait time. They are slowly starting to expand their staff, but of course with everything that's happening, they had to shut down and orders got backed up. It was just kind of a disaster. But if you are looking for some beautiful unique multi-chrome shadows, Cleona is the place to go. They have several different formulas of multi-chromes. My personal favorite is the glitter multi-chrome, which it has a, I want to say a semi-sheer base or a gray base, and it has like beautiful sparkles and shifts to it. It's my absolute favorite. They also have like the jeweled multi-chromes, which is the very typical black base multi-chrome, and I believe that's what the multi-chromes are in the Natasha Denona Tri-Chrome palette. And then they have vibrant multi-chromes. So many. I will link their page down below on Instagram for you guys to check out. I really feel like that's the easiest way to kind of wade through all of their shadows because you can see all the swatches right there. But I would highly recommend checking them out if you like lost your mind over the Natasha Denona shadows. So today the shades that I wanted to show you are Lineage, Opulent, and Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel is this beautiful blue shade that shifts to, oops, shifts to purple, and it has some gorgeous like golden reflex in it. Oh my goodness. So reflective, so beautiful, so pigmented. I feel like I'm not quite in the best lighting to show you guys the shifts, but as I said, head over to Cleona's page because they do a beautiful job of showcasing all the shifts that their shadows have. Opulent is more of a neutral multi-chrome, which I think is a fun concept because I love a good colorful multi-chrome, but let's be honest, I don't necessarily wear colorful eyeshadow when I'm going out of the house. So I think this is a really fun shade if you're more into neutrals. This one's kind of like a purple based rose gold. It has such beautiful reflex in it, you guys. How beautiful is that? So here is Opulent. I see like gold shimmers in here. I'm seeing some green shimmers. It's just a very beautiful multifaceted eyeshadow that really looks so like luxe on your lids, and honestly I feel like it's totally worth the price. And then the final Cleona shade that I wanted to give a shout out to is Lineage. Lineage is such a beautiful mint shade that has a really strong pink golden shift to it. Here's a little close-up for you guys. I'm not sure if my lighting's gonna be able to capture the shift on camera. You just see that beautiful pinky shift. How stunning is that? So here is Lineage. You guys, those shadows are so pretty. As I said, these are a bit more on the expensive side. I think the multi-chromes range from like $8 to $17 or something like that. Multi-chrome shadows are more expensive because of the pigments that go into them, but honestly the Cleona ones are worth it in my opinion. It can be a little bit overwhelming with their shade selection, but I feel like their huge shade selection is almost a plus in their favor because you can find something that you really truly love that you feel is worth that price tag. Okay guys, next up we have my JD Glow shadows, and these are these two shadows right here. Specifically, I'm recommending the Galaxy shadows. Their other shimmer shadows, I think they're called medallion shadows, are fine. They're just not my favorite. I think these ones really are the special ones in their collection. The first shade that I have right here is called Anomaly. This shadow is so incredibly reflective. It has the most beautiful sparkly texture on my lid. It shifts from like blue to royal blue to purple. Seriously stunning. So here's Anomaly. So good. And then I honestly feel like I can't make a single shadow video without mentioning JD Glow 365. This is one of those really pretty bronzy shades that has a really strong, oops, as I almost drop it, green golden shift to it. One of my all-time favorite shadows. I have many shadows that have this kind of shift in it in my collection, but none of them have the texture that this one does. It's ultra sparkly, metallic. Ugh, so pretty. So here's that swatched out right here. So pretty. I do want to note that Anomaly does stain my lids a little bit, so that's something that happens with Natasha Denona shadows as well. Just something to note if you guys are sensitive to staining or anything like that. Okay, next up we have the brand Terra Moon, and my Terra Moon shadows are right here. This one is one of their iridescent chameleon shadows, which is such a special shadow in my opinion. Natasha Denona has nothing in their line like this, and this is where indie makeup really shines. I have one of their true multi-chromes, which is again something that's a little bit more similar to the multi-chromes that are included in the Natasha Denona Trichrome palette with that really deep black base. And then I just included one of their duochromes because these are also very beautiful in my opinion. So the first shadow I want to talk about is Terra Moon's Lightyear. You're probably looking at this in the pan and really just seeing a white metallic shadow, but this has so many beautiful shifts in it. There are green shifts in here, blue, gold. It's really just a beautiful transformative shadow. So here is Lightyear. I feel like it looks so like pinky and gold on camera, but when I look at it from like the side of my eye right here, I see blue and green, which is so cool and so special. Again, these ones are a little bit more on the pricey side, but they're so transformative that I feel like it's really worth it because you get a lot of value from that shadow. This next shadow is called Mood Ring from Terra Moon. It shifts from like an emerald to a deep like navy blue to a brighter teal blue. Again, this is more of a classic multi-chrome with that really deep base. Here's that swatched out here. I hope you guys can see the shift on camera. Ooh, so pretty. And then finally, I want to talk about Terra Moon's Bonfire. They have quite a few really gorgeous duochromes in their collection. This one is just the one that I happen to grab. It shifts from like a beautiful scarlet pinky shade to a copper. I feel like the shifts in all of Terra Moon's duochromes are so much more apparent than they are in many of Natasha Denona's duochromes. Okay guys, next up we have DaVinci Cosmetics, which is these shadows right here in this little palette. This brand is really where I recommend you guys go if you are looking for some really gorgeous duochromes. My favorite collection of their duochromes is the Galaxy collection, I believe is what it's called. These are so beautiful. That's where all three of these shadows come from. They have a really beautiful reflect, and they have kind of a warm base to all of them. This first shade is called Skyla. It kind of reflects like a blue purple indigo shade, and it has, as I said, kind of that warm pinky base. And then it's swatched on the back of my hand. These are a bit more, I don't want to say sheer, but they're a bit more loosely packed, and I feel like that's why the shift is so incredibly apparent in these, because you can kind of like move the pigment of the shadow around a little bit more and pick it up more. Next up we have the shade Starfire, which is a beautiful kind of like true purple shadow that shifts to pink. And just swatch of this one and then it on the back of my hand. There you go. I feel like you guys can really see the shift on my hand, how it has like that really warm brownish pinky base. This next shade is possibly my favorite duochrome in my collection, and this is Divina Asteria. This shadow has a beautiful green shift, and it goes from like green to pink. It's such a cool shade. How gorgeous. So I've talked about a lot of shimmer shadows, and I feel like shimmer shadows are really a formula that's easier to nail down versus like a matte shadow. But I do have one brand in particular that I wanted to mention for matte shadows that I think would beat out Natasha Denona's matte shadows any day, and that is Sydney Grace. So Sydney Grace's shadows are right here. I've done so many videos on Sydney Grace. I will be sure to link all of them down below, but I just grabbed like a little tiny snapshot of the shadows that I have from them. I have so many. I really think that their mattes are absolutely incredible. They have a super wide range. These shadows are very affordable. Divina shadows are also pretty affordable as well, and Terra Moon's non-multi-chrome or non-chameleon shadows, as they call them, are also quite affordable. But I would say that Sydney Grace is probably the most affordable out of all of these. But I have two matte shades and a shimmer that I wanted to swatch for you. I do like Sydney Grace's shimmers, but they're just like some other extra special shades from other brands that I think live up to the Natasha Denona bar a little bit more than Sydney Grace's shimmers. But the first shade I wanted to swatch for you is called Regal. It's this beautiful matte purple. So pigmented. And then we have Keep Smiling, which is a beautiful deep rich brown shade. And then finally we have Below Zero, which is such a pretty deep blue shadow. So here we have Regal, Keep Smiling, and Below Zero. So pretty. I feel like swatches really aren't doing them justice, especially the matte shades, because Sydney Grace's matte shades swatch well, but they perform even better on the eyes. So you guys are just gonna have to take my word for it. But that wraps up today's video, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it and found it helpful. I thought it would be fun to kind of throw this out here just before the Black Friday sales start getting underway, because a lot of indie brands have great Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, and so maybe you guys would like to try some of them, but you weren't really sure where to start, or you were like, maybe I should try Natasha Denona, but I'm here to tell you to try something else. So that's gonna wrap it up for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment down below letting me know if you have tried any of these formulas and how you think they stack up against the Natasha Denona formula. But that's all for me today, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.